What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I am talking very fast, so let's slow it down, but that is because we are debuting the first deck list with this new card just behind me, Turbo Patch. Now, it might be a little bit of a cheat deck in that we don't actually use a main attacker from Darkness Ablaze, but it does feature Turbo Patch and another card from the Darkness Ablaze set that is about to come out very prominently, and you'll see what I mean in just a second. So if you haven't been following the channel for very long and you're one of the 30% of people that don't actually subscribe to this channel and yet watch these videos, click on that subscribe button down below. It takes 1 second and it's the easiest way to support me as a content creator. So please make sure to do that so you don't miss out when I post new videos every single day. All right, let's go to the intro. So we got our deck here, guys. This is Spiritomb Sableye with Turbo Patch and our Spikemuth Stadium. Now, it may not be what you were envisioning when you heard that I was going to be using Turbo Patch, but I do think that this is one of the best ways to utilize Turbo Patch in this new format. So let's just read Turbo Patch here for you guys that don't know what it says. Flip a coin if heads. Choose a basic energy from your discard pile and attach it to one of your basic Pokemon excluding Pokemon GX. So when I first saw this card, obviously Turbo Patch would work really well with any of those just beefy basics that don't need to evolve into VMAXs, that do a lot of damage just on their own. And one of these cards that I was thinking about, you know, Zacian, Zamazenta, after you get past those, you know, you're looking at cards to play it with. And I was like, oh yeah, Sableye V. One of the biggest problems with Sableye V was that it took 2 energy attachments to get powered up. That was like a real big hindrance to why that card wasn't seeing more play in past formats. But now, with Turbo Patch, you have the opportunity to lay a Sableye V down and get it powered up. Because Sableye V has a very, very strong second attack. Just a really, really good second attack that can take one-shots almost out of nowhere. Right? You're talking 40 damage. Well, let's just put Sableye V up here with its second attack here. Crazy Claws, its attack to 60 more damage for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon. 10 plus the 60 for however many damage counters. So then, let's say they had 4 damage counters on there. Okay? 4 times 60. You're doing 250 to the active. Pretty insane for just 2 energy, but then that also comes at a cost, right? Because if your opponent sees that you're trying to attach to a Sableye, they're going to try to do everything in their power to gust it up. Well, Turbo Patch says no. Get out of here. Turbo Patch completely defies that strategy where you can just play down a Sableye V and get it powered up in the same turn. That is very, very strong and very, very good. So we have included the Sableye V here as kind of a supplement. Right? A supplement to this Spiritomb. Spiritomb is the main attacker. This is how you want to take most of your prize cards, but then you also have Sableye V in a 2 count to come in later in the game and clean things up for you. So moving on down, we got 4 Jirachi for our early game setup. We got 4 Spiritomb. You want as many of those out as you possibly can. This is a lot like current format Spiritomb in that you want to have, you know, 1, 2, 3 on the bench so that you can build some spite, move it with the Jinx. With that ability here, Jinx reads that Ominous Posture there is the ability once during your turn before you attack, you may move a damage counter from one of your Pokemon to another Pokemon, so you can start powering up multiple Spiritomb over the course of a game and make sure that they're hitting for heavy, heavy damage. To augment our damage and to also have like a little bit of synergy with Sableye V, we've included 2 Zigzagoon. That's to fix up any math numbers. That's to add another, 60 damage to Sableye V's attack. And 2 Zigzagoon is really, really strong. I could even see, honestly, going up to 3, potentially 4. But Zigzagoon at a 2 count is where we're going to start. We have 4 research, 4 Marnie as our consistency supporters, and then for consistency Pokemon, we've included 1 Dedenne and 1 Oricorio. Oricorio, a lot in the same way as Spiritomb of this current format. In the future format, post-rotation, it's going to work exactly the same way where, your Spiritombs are going down left and right, turn after turn, and you just want to draw some extra cards to find an attacker to follow that Spiritomb up with. We got the 1 to Dene for a little bit of added draw. And moving on down, 3 Boss's Orders for our Gust. I originally had 4 Boss's Orders in this list, as I do feel like Boss's Orders is going to be a crucial card in this next format that most decks are going to want to max out on. We are losing a lot of reliability of Great Catcher in the next format, and with the format kind of centering around Pokemon V and Pokemon V Max, Boss's Orders is going to be even more important to have. So again, any deck that you can fit in the higher counts, 3 or 4, I would absolutely go for that. And honestly, try 4 in some decks. I think like Zacian ADP, try 4 Boss's Orders. Just do it for me, okay? We got 4 Scoop Up Net, 4 Switch, 4 Quick Ball, 4 Turbo Patch. That rounds out our 4 of trainers there, or 4 of items. So the 4 Scoop Up Net, being able to reuse our Zigzagoons, being able to reuse our Jinx to get more ominous posture damage moved around from wherever you have it. We got our 4 Switch. That's going to also combo very well with our Spikemuth Stadium. So Spikemuth Stadium we play as a 3 of. Spikemuth says, whenever a player's Pokemon is moved from the active to the bench during their turn, put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. So that is really good in 2 ways. So the first way it's good is that it can really augment our Spiritomb's damage. If we have a Spiritomb active, we bring it to the bench with a switch or something, or a retreat, then we can put 2 damage counters on it, and automatically our damage is boosted. And then the other way it's good for us is that if the opponent switches or air balloons their active out of its position, then it also takes 2 damage counters. So a really good 2-way stadium for this deck, and one that we've included as a 3. We have 2 Toughness Cape, one of the weaker cards I think in this deck list. Toughness Cape, it's not really going to prevent all that much from getting knocked out, but it does give our Spiritomb something to strive for, if you know what I mean. Like, if we could get a Toughness Cape on a Spiritomb, and we could get it up to 100 damage counters on one Spiritomb, then all of a sudden that Spiritomb is hitting for 300 damage for 1 energy. So it's definitely a pipe dream, but it's an option, right? It's not a guarantee, but the deck has the ability to do 300 damage for 1 energy, and I think that's cool enough to warrant a couple of Toughness Capes. We have 1 Tool Scrapper for opposing Toughness Capes, opposing Big Charms, opposing Air Balloons even. Just tools that we don't really want our opponent to have access to. And then 1 Black Market, which is absolutely staple in these kinds of 1 prize focused dark decks. Rounding out the entire list, we have 10 energy, 4 Aurora, and 6 dark. Now we want that higher count of basic dark because that works with Turbo Patch. So as many as we can, try to get into the discard, or as many as we have the option to get into the discard, the better, because then our Turbo Patch is going to be live from an earlier point in the game on. So that is the list, you guys. Let me know what you think about Sableye V with Turbo Patch. I think aside from Zacian, Zamazenta, that Sableye V really is the V Pokemon, or the basic Pokemon, that has the most to gain from Turbo Patch. Just seems to me that it was already a very strong card that did see some play, but as soon as you started to power up a Sableye V, a lot of opponents would just gust it immediately. And so now we have Turbo Patch, now we can get it set up in 1 turn, and that could be all the difference. So let me know what you guys think, and also tell me in the comments what you want to see with Turbo Patch. Is there another archetype, maybe outside of this or outside of ADPZ, that you think Turbo Patch fits in nicely to? I'm really curious to know, because I want to break this card. I want to do everything I can to make this card just as good as it can be, because for now I haven't really seen it in that many lists. Obviously, not being able to accelerate to GX Pokemon is a big hindrance. We would certainly see Turbo Patch maxed out in ADPZ lists if it could accelerate onto an ADP. Unfortunately, that's not the case, but I still think it has an insane amount of viability. We just need to figure it out. So that is the video today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please make sure to follow me, twitch.tv/FlexDaddyRighteous, where I am doing all this next format testing. On Mondays, I start my stream at 10 o'clock a.m., and I will be streaming these next couple of weeks with Andrew Mahone doing some Tabletop Simulator, going over some of these archetypes that I have been highlighting in these videos. So if you've been liking these videos, make sure to not only subscribe to this channel, but go over there and follow that Twitch channel as well for live content. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Remember, good luck and also have fun.